What's up, everybody? CryptoSavy here. I want to wish everyone a happy new year and be safe if you are going out tonight. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin and Litecoin and take a look at some key areas I'm watching and what we might be looking forward to. Also, don't forget to leave your comment in the comment section down below to get you entered to win a free t-shirt. We will be doing the drawing on Sunday. We'll pick a random comment from a random video throughout the week, so definitely don't forget to do that. Also, there's a free Discord group in the description below the video. Definitely check it out. Let's get into the video. All right, guys, as always, this is not financial advice. This is not investing advice. This is not trading advice. Disclaimer scrolling on the bottom, read it. So anyways, yeah, if you are going out tonight, guys, be careful out there. I want to take a look. I'm going to refresh this real quick. We're going to take a look at the news headlines. Bitcoin price poised to jump 40% towards 10,000. Here's why. There's a bullish one. Bitcoin's 9 million percent rise. Is it 9 million? 9 million percent rise. This decade leaves two skeptics. China's planned Bitcoin killer. That's bearish. Sorry, bulls. Bitcoin to remain in firm downtrend. Bearish. After halving, Bitcoin believers expect to rally in 2020. Bullish. Financial analyst predicts Bitcoin's all-time high in 2020. That would be nice. Bitcoin believers expect 2020 rally as a reward for halving. Bitcoin price on verge of long-term doom. So it's mixed bag in there. Let's look at the fear and greed index. We are at 38. We dropped 2 from yesterday. We were at 40 yesterday. We are at 38. Let's look at the longs on Bitfinex. You guys know I don't really know what's going on here. I don't think anybody does. They are falling. Some people are expecting a long squeeze and these longs to get liquidated. Let's look at the Bitfinex, BitMEX, and Binance totals. The longs are 63.5%. The shorts are 36.5%. So we do have more longs than shorts. Let's go into, this is the monthly close we're looking at today, guys. We've been looking at, this does look like a good monthly candle even if we close like this, but as I was talking about, if we close below the 70.50, that's going to be extremely bearish in my opinion on the monthly, and our monthly does close today. If we close above the 76.40 range, I think that's going to be extremely bullish. Most likely we'll probably close in between these again, and then we'll have to look at next month's candle. But guys, we could have there's still that possibility of a good rally to push this up. Let's look at the we'll go back to the monthly real quick. I wanted to show you too, the volume is still declining within this formation. And if we look at the weekly, I've moved my trend line. I'll show you why here in a minute. I'm not sure which way to put that, but let's zoom in here in the weekly, looking at this falling wedge. And as you can see, we had the 8 cross the 55 EMA, which was bearish. We did get, a big dump here. And if we don't get a push up today, most likely this weekly is going to, well, I guess we got all week. If we don't get a push up this week to keep the 13 EMA from crossing the 55 EMA, that's going to be pretty bearish. If we look back in the past, every time one of these, the smaller EMAs cross, but as you can see here, we had this spike up that made the 13. It turned the 13 up, almost kept it from crossing, but we did get a dump and it did cross. But every time you see a cross of these smaller EMAs, you can see what happens. Here was the big dump. But yeah, every time the smaller EMAs crossing under the big ones, it's usually bad news. Just like right here, we had the 8 cross, like I said. But I still think it's real possible we get a nice rally this week, guys. Maybe all the way up to this $8,600 range. And I had been talking about that in the last few videos. But as you can see, the volume is still declining here within this formation. If nobody thinks we can break the 8,600 here, I'm not saying we will, but when nobody thinks something, that's usually when you want to go, you know, be a contrarian. Now I'm going to show you. Remember we had all this resistance back here. I'll draw a line on here. That was in 2018. We had all this resistance here. When we did break through, people were saying in 2019 we wouldn't even be able to break the 6,000. There was no way. People actually shorted here and got liquidated and literally lost everything because people were so sure that we would not be able to get above this resistance, which was old support, and we blew through it, guys. So that's just, you know, and that was respected analysts and all kinds of people saying that it couldn't happen, wouldn't happen, no way. By all that year we wouldn't, and we blew through. We hit 14,000, guys, and we are still in a correction from there. So keep that in mind when people are saying we will not break up out of this resistance line. Not to say it's going to happen, but I'm just telling you what happened in the past. So let's look at the RSI now. I had moved this line here. I'm going to move this away real quick. I'm going to draw another one in there. This is the wedge we had drawn in here. We broke out of it, came back down, tested it for support. Then I did have a trend line drawn from these peaks here, looking like we broke out here, but I'm going to change that line, guys, and I wanted to do it with you guys on here. All I did was clone this bottom line, and I'm going to put it right here off of these peaks here, and we are teetering with that now. A close outside of this, in my opinion, on the weekly this week would be very bullish, and we may get something today. There's a possibility being the monthly closes today. Let's look at the daily chart. Okay, looking at the daily, we're going to look first at the price action, then I'm going to show you what I'm thinking in the RSI. As you guys know, we had this support down at the 7,050 range, which is hanging strong still, and I've been saying if we drop below that, it's a good chance we go down, you know, into the 5,400 range, which is the 0.786 Fibonacci. But as you can see right now, we are still teetering around that 0.618, which if this holds, guys, it could be bullish. We could continue up. I do want to put a, let me put a target up here because this is where we could possibly be headed. Maybe today, 7,600, and that is the 55 EMA on the daily. But what, like I said, that's, you know, I'm not guaranteeing we go there, but that is a good possibility, and I'll show you why here in a few when we go into smaller time frames. Keep in mind the volume is declining right here within this. So we're definitely looking to have some sort of big break, and I'll show you why. If we look at this, each time this volume declined and we had a pop, as you can see what happened. Let me move this down here so you can see every time this volume declines like this and then we get a spike in volume, this one was a drop. If we take this, move it over to the next one, we had a spike in the volume and we had this push up here. What was that? About a $1,000 jump there. And then now we are looking to do that again. Volume is declining. Looks like we are about to have another pop. Question is, will we break this 7,050 and it go down, or will we break up? And we'll look at that in the 4 hour. But what I wanted to point out too, this is even bigger. If you look at this as the bigger picture, we have been declining this whole thing. So guys, there is a big move coming, whether it be up or down, nobody knows for sure. But there is a huge move coming. It could be a life-changing trade. If you guys are into trading, definitely check out my Bybit tutorial up top. And like I said, if you want to learn to trade, definitely start out on the test net where you don't use real money. And then when you think you're ready, you know, put a small amount in. Don't do high leverage. Never play with more money than you're willing to lose. I want to point out here too, we are getting resistance on all these EMAs. It is the 8, the 13, and the 21. If we could break above these guys, that's going to be pretty damn bullish here. Let's go into the RSI. look at what's going on here. Let me get into a bigger picture so you can see. We've had this falling channel we've been watching. We had like a bear trap right here. And looks like we're getting ready to come up and test this again, possibly, guys. And if we do, that's most likely, if we look at if we can break through the top of this falling channel and get back up towards the top of this rising channel in white, that rising channel in white could be all the way up to the $85 to $8,600 range if we break this on the RSI. And remember, guys, this is the daily RSI. But if we get up and just test the top of the yellow one, that's probably going to be around that 7,600 range, which I said looks like we could possibly be going there looking at the 55 EMA. Let's look at the 4 hour. And this is the range where we've been in for quite some time. The top of the range being 7,430, bottom of the range being 7,050. And we did have measured moves here, guys. We did have a bull trap up here the other day. But if we're to break that and open and close the candle above that, I still think we're looking at least the 7,600 range, which is this blue resistance line here, possibly the 7,800. Now, that's if we break up past the 7,450 range. Now, I do want to point out what we're looking at here. And guys, remember, I'll be doing Litecoin next. But I do want to point out this symmetrical triangle right here. It does look like we are about to break up out of that. Obviously, there's no way to tell right now. But definitely, I think that's significant. And if we break down, we're most likely looking to retest that 7,050. And if we break up out of this, we're most likely coming up to at least to test that 200 EMA, which is around the 7370 range. So look for that as a possibility today. But remember, we are teetering with this 0.618. We are just underneath it right now. Yeah, so let's look at the EMAs. EMAs are looking bearish. The 55 EMA has been crossed by the 8 EMA here. We had this little capitulation, little mini dump. And the 13 is looking to cross 55 now. If we don't get a push up pretty quick here, most likely that's going to cross in the 4 hour. And we continue down in the next 4 hour candle. But it looks like there's a good chance we may continue up from here, guys. So we should know maybe by the time this video is out. But as you can see, the volume is declining within this formation. And it's looking to make a move, whether it be up or down here. If we measure just the triangle, if we were to go down, the measured move is about 7,100. If we were to go up, and this is the minimal. This is not measuring the flagpole, just the flag. And if we were to go up, 73.22 would be the minimals. So let's say the break of 72.30, we're at least going to 73.30. And a break of 7,200, we're at least going to the 7,100 at least. So anyways, that's what I'm looking at there. Let's go into the RSI on the 4 hour. Excuse me. So on the 4 hour, as you can see, do we have any divergence there? Let's look at that real quick. Does anybody have any New Year's resolutions? Just curious. Leave them down below if you do. Mine is to quit smoking. I'm curious to see what your guys' are if you do have any New Year's resolutions. But yeah, this would match up with this bottom trend line here if we did go down to either the 7150 or the 7100. That would make no, that wouldn't really make any divergence there. So anyway, and if we move up to retest the top of this, that's going to match up with this 7430 range. And then if we break out above that, we have the longer term rising channel here, which would be, if we break here, which would be breaking up past this 7430, we'd be looking at most likely the $7,600 range, which would probably be the top of this rising channel in red there. So that is where we're at. But guys, this is most likely, I would stay out of this, especially if you're not an experienced trader and you're not doing day trades. No trade zone until we pop out, either pop below the resist or the support at 70.50 or pop above the 74.50 range. And that I would, if we did pop above the 74.50 range, I'd be looking at the 7,600 to start getting out, if not get all the way out of the trade. So that is what I'm looking at. Let's go over to Litecoin. Litecoin on the monthly. Remember, the monthly closes today. Litecoin is kind of still looking like a bullish monthly candle, possibly. But if you look at the EMAs here on Litecoin, this being the 21 EMA, the 8 has already crossed, 13 looking to cross. If we don't get a push up, most likely the next monthly is going to cross this 8 or the 13 EMA crossing the 21, which is going to be bearish and more downside. Looking, whoops, sorry about that. Let's go into the weekly. Like I said, guys, it looks like we might have one hell of a push up today, possibly with Bitcoin. Let's look at Litecoin. Litecoin, same thing. I have this long-term support line here at the $41 range. We are getting support off that again. Obviously, you know, when all these crossed over, all the smaller EMAs crossed the 55 here, that was extremely bearish. But as you can see, same thing in Bitcoin. Our volume is declining down to nothing, guys. It looks like we're about to have a break. Both Bitcoin and Litecoin are going to make a big move soon. And my opinion, it's going to be up. But don't trade off my opinion. Do your own due diligence. But I think we're going to have a big push up here pretty soon. Let's go into the daily chart. All right, so looking at the daily, we hit our target the other day at the 44.09, so I'm going to get that off of there now. And what I wanted to point out, volume still declining within this formation. I am going to put this target, guys, move it up here to around the 46.69 range. And that's meeting up on the daily with the 55 EMA. Obviously, the next stop off of that would be the top of this bigger wedge with 53.51, but as you can see, we are playing within the EMAs here. If we could break this 21 EMA right where we're at now, if we could break above this $43 range, we're probably headed up to the 46.60, 46.70 range, and that would also line up with the top of this falling channel. So the top of that channel is going to be around the 46. And then if we look at this rising channel within it, if we break out of this, the next stop would be the top of this resistance line here, which would be most likely around the $50 range, somewhere in that area. Keep an eye on it. I think we might be seeing a nice move today, guys. I really, really do. Let's go into the 4 hour. All right, looking at the 4 hour, as you can see, I had this rising broadening wedge in here, and I do have that drawn. I have this drawn in here. Let's look at the RSI. This is pretty important. I cloned this line up here, put it down here for a, you know, I guess you could call it a rising channel. It's barely rising, if that's the case. But I also have this trend line drawn in here that we are getting support right now. Question is, do we break down and come back down to here, or are we coming up? And we'll look at that in the price. So if we break down, I'm looking at, and when I say break down, I mean break down on this RSI in the 4 hour. So if we were to break down there, guys, my price, I think we'd be retesting the top right around the $40 range, which would be retesting the top of this falling channel that we fell out of. And if we were to go down to the bottom of this, which I don't see that happening, I don't think we'll come all the way down to the $39 range. I think we'll get stopped around the $40.50 to $40 range. But if we look at the EMAs here, it looks like we're trying to push up and out, guys. And if we do, the next stop's most likely going to be around the 43.82. And then what's this? 44.64 would be the top of this range. So that would be the 46 or the 44.72, $44 range, somewhere in there, 44.50, just like we looked at in the daily, would be the top of this resistance line, trend line right here. And that's if we don't break down here. So it does look promising, guys. I think we're probably headed up to at least that 44.65 range. I will do an update maybe later. I doubt it. Being New Year's, I probably won't be doing much of that tonight. But anyways, that's my targets. That's what I'm looking at, guys. I'm actually pretty bullish here for the day. So if anything crazy happens, I'll try to post on my Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter down below. I'll also try to post, you know, a post on YouTube also. But anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure you don't forget to leave a comment down below. Check out my affiliate links down below for a way to help support the channel. Click the CryptoSavy logo above my head to get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell. Make sure you hit the all button to get you notified when I post new videos. I do daily updates every single day. This one's kind of quick and kind of all over the place, but I think you guys get the idea. I'm bullish here. So anyways, don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button, and leave your comments. Take it easy, guys. Have a great day.